Alright guys, so we are going to paint a Blood Raven Space Marine. We're going to use a very fun little trick with the contrast that you can do. It is pretty easy. It will work on any dark red model, so Blood Raven, Flesh Tearers, or if you're into Chaos, Word Bearers would also work. And I mean, who's not into Chaos? So the important part is that you start on a clean black base coat. That's why we just did it again. So every nook and cranny needs to be black. You need to have no other color showing through in all of these recesses. So even if you're doing this with a can, just go over with black just to make sure that every nook and cranny is black. Otherwise, this will not work. All right, so the first color that we're going to use is Shining Silver from Army Painter. And it might surprise you because, well, it's not red. But it's going to be awesome. So we got some of that Shining Silver right in there. So what we're going to do with our Shining Silver is basically a zenithal highlight. So we're not interested in painting the whole model, but we want to give some highlight with the Shining Silver. So we'll start from the top down and work our way down towards the model. Alright, so that looks kind of okay. So now what we got is, if you look from under, it's almost 100% black. If you look from the top, almost 100% silver. So now we're going to use Volupus Pink. That's a contrast paint. And we're going to go with Volupus Pink on top of this guy here. I mean, look at this color. This color is so cool. Right, so now is the tricky part where we kind of want some red on everything. We don't want the silver showing through, and we don't want the black showing through. So now obviously this is best to do like a whole army, because you get to do like a buttload of them at the same time, whereas I'm only doing one here. But I would line up like practically a whole army here. The next time I want to do this, I would line up the whole force, right? So now we got this interesting red wine color guy that catches. I'm trying to give you as best as I can, because what makes this model nice is the light reflection, right? All right, so we're gonna put this guy aside. We're gonna dump this back into our Volupus Pink container. So now we get to move on with our little Blood Raven guy. So let's keep our big brush and let's go straight with Morghast Bone. If you have Zandri Dust, it probably works. And we're gonna paint the inside here of this. And we do this now because now we get to kind of ignore the little border. So if we go over it, doesn't matter, because we're going to paint it black at the very end. Oh, is Bone going to be another of those like problem color for the camera? Ooh. All right, let's get that second coat in, and then I'll get some coffee in this. Second coat here, coffee here. Okay. And I mean, already we can kind of tell what this guy's going to be when he grows up. So 2 coats is kind of not enough. Like, all right. I mean, it's a really nice yellowish bone color. Like, it's a really nice color. It's just not what we're after. So this is Skeleton Bone from the Army Painter. It's a nice little bone color. It's a lighter, so this will highlight fairly well our whatever color that we wanted to use here. So if I did Zandri Dust, I would still use Skeleton Bone on top of it. So we're gonna start from the bottom and we're gonna go towards the top, and I mean this towards gravity like, right? So our character. the French just want to take over sometimes. So our guy here, he's standing kind of straight. So the top is not the top of the shoulder plate, which is angled. It's the top gravity-wise. So that's what we're after. So we go from the bottom and then we go towards the top. And we're kind of doing this all the way around. So exactly the same thing for the other side, but again, because the shoulder blade is not angled the same, our highlight is not in the same spot, right? So we could go into more highlight. I think what we're going to do is we're going to shade this, and then if we want to, we're going to just add like a final little highlight of the skeleton bone. Perfect. So Highlight done. Let's try to give you like a up close. It's kind of hard to see. The camera is really bad at picking up these light colors for reason unknown. Alright, so now we're going to do Seraphim Sepia, and we're going to do this on the shoulder plates. So you'll notice this time, instead of color blocking, I decided that we're going to do one color to completion. That's not how I normally paint, but I like this for videos. So it's a little bit more tedious to do it this way, just because we don't save time and we might have to reuse colors at some point. But that's not a big deal. So in blacks, we're going to do the gun, I think, and then we're going to do the eagle and the border. So let's start with the eagle, because it's like deep inside our little character. And lastly, we have the shoulder plates to do in the black. So just the sides. So now again, we have to be doubly careful now, because we cannot slip on either direction. We don't want to slip on the red armor, and we don't want to slip on that bone color that we got. All right, there we go. Pretty happy with this look so far. Let's add the silver at the, or no, let's highlight the black. That makes a lot more sense. Let's use Incubi Darkness. That's a good one to get that like dark blue color. So we're just gonna do one quick highlight here. And then same thing on this side here. Another quick highlight just on the bottom part here. Hoo-wee. There we go. And we are good to go. Now let's we can do the silver right now and then finish off with the brown. Alright, so lead Belcher now are gunmetal if you have the army painter. They're all the same. This dark silver color works great every time, no matter which brand you use, they're all good. Alright, so the more we paint on our guard, the more we have to be careful, because the more colors are done, right? So I'm going at a much slower pace now, but that's just because we need to not fuck up. Now's a good time to not fuck up. So now this little eagle here, we could do it gold, but because there's no gold anywhere else on our little guy, I think we're just gonna do it silver. All right. And now just add some brown. So we're gonna do, and the reason we're doing brown now is because the brown, the black, and the silver are all gonna be shaded the same way. So, you know, we're only gonna open the null oil once. That way, we only risk throwing it across the desk once. And this model, like I'll tell you this much, for the time that we're spending on it, it's looking way too nice for like a 1 hour type of model. All right, so now let's do Scrog Brown, that little highlight there. So now this color here, it's gonna look really weird, like it's gonna look like it's overpowering, but the black shading is gonna take care of that after. So it's one of those times where you're doing something that looks really odd, but it's gonna work out fine. So I like this. All right, so now we get to go. Leroy Jenkins here with Nuln Oil. So black, silver, and brown, all of them love that Nuln Oil color. So we're gonna give it to them. Now's a good time to not really care. And then we can just like put it on there. So the only place that I'm not interested in doing is the trim on the shoulder pad, because there's not much surface and we really don't want it to spill. So instead, that's the only place where we were also very careful with the highlights. So kind of because we did not want to wash it, we had to be more careful with the highlights, whereas the other areas, because we knew we were gonna take the Nuln Oil to town, we could be a little bit more reckless. So let's do silver here. Let's just repaint the base real quick. Let's put our little
buddy on there. Alright, so let's do Bugman's glow on top of that little tentacle. So Bugman's glow here. Let's come back with our little details here. So all right, it looks like the green has been chosen, so that's perfect. Because I love me that color, so we're just gonna do moon green. So I think this guy only has like eyes, but if you had like gems or plasma or you know, whatever fancy gun these guys have, like so. Whoops. And there we go. So now we have our little guy here done and ready to purge. So now, well, let's do a couple of shades on this little base here just to give it some fun. So we're going to start with Null Oil on the metallics. You know, I'm not going to save water here. Let's put it that way. Like this. Come on. Oh, wait, there we go. Hooey! Now, so we kind of need this to dry, because if we try to glue it now, it's just not going to work at all. So we're going to set this guy aside here, and yeah, we're going to set this guy aside. If you're watching this on video, it's going to show our little completed guy.